Hi guys! Welcome to the December wrap-up for 2017, the last month to wrap up in 2017. So in honor of December, I am wearing one of my many Christmas shirts. So this is a dog with a Santa costume on, and it's really cute. I am sorry that this video is super late, but I have been kind of busy slash on vacation, so I didn't want to like film or anything. But I am so excited to finally give you the last wrap up for 2017. So like always, we are going to start with the books that I read in December. So for this last month of 2017, I did not read a lot of books. I kind of already surpassed my goal of books I wanted to read for the month, so I didn't feel like I needed to read a lot of books. I also wanted to spend more time hanging out with friends and family and just like living my life rather than sitting and reading. So I only read 3 books this month. The first book, I don't have the physical copy right now because I'm lending it out to a friend, and that is Everything is Awful by Matt Bellassai. If you don't know who Matt Bellassai is, you're probably a normal human being. But if you do know who Matt Bellassai is, welcome to the club of weird people. Matt Bellassai used to have a show or series on the BuzzFeed YouTube channel called Wine About It, where he just sat at his desk, drank a bunch of wine, and would just complain about things. I need to quickly apologize about the lighting. The lighting has been so back and forth for some reason. It's like sunny and then it's rainy and then it's sunny and then it's rainy, and it's just very confusing. So I'm very sorry if the lighting is just like weird. And Matt Bellassai actually won a People's Choice Award for that series, but he is no longer at BuzzFeed, so he now just has his own show on like his own channel on YouTube where he basically does the same thing. He just calls it something different. But anyway, that is Matt Bellassai, and so he wrote a book called Everything is Awful, and I actually found it super funny. I definitely enjoyed reading this book. I loved it a lot. It definitely sounded like his voice. Like when I was reading it, I just felt like I was watching one of his videos and hearing him talk, and it was quite hilarious. I also really enjoyed learning about his childhood and just him growing up and just his life in general, just everything that he's experienced. It's nothing too like crazy or too interesting, but it definitely is still fun to read. Like he makes it fun and interesting to read, even though it's not that interesting. But I certainly did enjoy this book, so I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. The next book I read is Genuine Fraud by E. Lockhart. I like E. Lockhart a lot. I've read 2 of her books so far, my favorite definitely being We Were Liars. That is one of my all-time favorite books ever, and with her books it's really good to go into the book not knowing anything. So because I love E. Lockhart, I had some pretty high expectations going into the book, but I was a little bit disappointed, and I'm hoping that it's just because I had high expectations. And because it is best to go into these books not knowing anything, I'm not going to tell you too much about the plot, but it was definitely more of like a thriller mystery type book, and I do enjoy those books a lot, and I really liked the concept of this book. I truly did. It was very like engaging and riveting, and it was definitely like a trip. Like this took you on a journey. The one issue I think I mainly had with this book was that it was told, okay, I don't know how to explain this, but like it's told backwards. So you technically start at like the end of the journey and you just keep going till the very beginning of her journey. Having it in that direction definitely revealed a lot of things, and it's one of those stories that should be told in that way. But for some reason in the beginning, having it be like that was very confusing for me, and I don't know, I got very confused. By the end, it did all kind of like wrap up, but I don't know, I just kind of felt underwhelmed and a little bit confused during most of this book. So I gave this book 3 out of 5 stars. And the last book that I read this month, My True Love Gave to Me, edited by Stephanie Perkins and with a bunch of authors. This is kind of like that book I read earlier this past summer called Summer Days and Summer Nights, which I absolutely loved. And this is kind of the same concept. It's just 12 stories written by 12 authors. They all have to do with some form of love. All these kind of take place around Christmas time. I enjoy short story collections. I have really been getting into short story collections. And this was a really great collection. I just definitely think it's not as good as the Summer Days and Summer Nights collection. There were definitely some stories in here that I just felt very like blah and meh about. There were a few that I liked, but I think most of them I just kind of felt meh about. I don't know how else to explain it. Definitely cute, and I really did enjoy reading this. So I'm going to give this 3.5 out of 5 stars. Now we are on to the movies that I watched this month, and December was a really good movie month. I watched a lot of movies. As always, I'm going to start with the rewatches and then tell you about the new movies that I watched and go more in depth with those movies. So since it is December and it was like Christmas time, there is a theme with the movies that I watched. So just keep that in mind. The Polar Express, Die Hard, Meet Me in St. Louis, Fred Claus, A Christmas Carol. This is the 80s version with George Scott. It's a Wonderful Life, The Santa Claus 2, The Santa Claus 3, Home Alone 2, The Disaster Artist, Love Actually, How the Grinch Stole Christmas, the Jim Carrey edition, obviously, Home Again, Four Christmases, The Holiday, Zoolander, Music and Lyrics, Elf. I was hoping the sun would come back eventually. I am sorry about this horrible lighting. Now on to the new movies that I watched this month. I watched 8 new movies this month. So let's just get into it. The first is Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. This is a John Hughes movie, and I do very much enjoy John Hughes. And I bought this because it was kind of in like the Christmas movie section of Target, and I was like, I could use as many new Christmas movies as I want. Although when I watched it, it's actually more of a Thanksgiving movie. It's not a Christmas movie, so I don't know why it's in the Christmas section and why so many people watch it at Christmas. It's a Thanksgiving movie. That is, I think, the main issue I had with it. I mean, if it was a Thanksgiving movie, yes, all for it. But the fact that they're like promoting it as a Christmas movie, because even the cover at Target was very much a like Christmas cover. And I was like, this is not a Christmas movie, so why? I did very much enjoy it. It's just a very crazy, out there road trip. Kind of reminds me of Due Date, although I do know this came out before Due Date. But I enjoyed Due Date, and this very much had that feel of, you know, the flights are all canceled, and these two people end up going on like a road trip together to get to their final destination because they were going to be on the same plane. Just lots of shenanigans happen, a lot of fights happen, a lot of like clashing personalities, and it's a very fun ride, but I don't know. I think for me it's one of those movies where I watch it once, I like it, I don't think I'll ever watch it again. It was okay for me, so I gave it 3 out of 5 stars. So the next movie that I watched is an Elf story. If you've heard of Elf on the Shelf, cool, great. I've heard of Elf on the Shelf, but I never actually knew the story behind Elf on the Shelf, and I never really participated in it. It's more something for kids anyway, like for parents to do for kids. But this was like $9, and I was like, yeah, I'll watch the Elf story in animated video form. And it was actually a really cute story. I loved it so much, and I thought the animation was done very well. And this is actually a very short movie too. How long is it? It's only 24 minutes. I just wish it had been longer. Like, I wish it was longer than 24 minutes, but I know they're turning a very short children's story into a whole video. But it's cute. It's definitely one I think I'll be watching every Christmas now. So I gave this movie 4 out of 5 stars. Now the next 5 new movies I watched were all of those like Netflix Christmas rom-coms. Those like very cheesy, horrible movies. Thankfully, I am the audience for those movies. I'm not going to talk about each of them individually because it's just too much and it'll be too much of the same story over and over. So let me just tell you the ones that I watched, and I'll tell you my least favorite, I'll tell you my favorite, and then I'll give each of them a star rating. And then you can do with that what you want, but they're all basically the same story. It's all about love in the Christmas time. The first one I watched was definitely the most popular in the Netflix Christmas movies, and that is A Christmas Prince. Then I watched The Spirit of Christmas, then A Christmas Inheritance, A Christmas Kiss, and 12 Dates of Christmas. Now, because all of these are super cheesy, they're the kind of movies that are so bad they're good. I actually really enjoyed most of these. There was just one that I really did not like. It was horrible all around. It had terrible dialogue. It was terribly written. The camera work was horrible. The acting was horrible. Even the lighting was horrible. Like, everything about this movie was horrible, and it was very hard to watch. And that movie was A Christmas Kiss. I really recommend no one watches this movie. It was horrible. Just horrible. I gave it 1 out of 5 stars. Now, my favorite one that I watched that actually wasn't that bad. It actually was a very good story, very well written, I thought, and the main guy in it is definitely the hottest out of all the guys in these movies, and I thought the acting was very well done as well. It definitely is still a very cheesy story, but I thought it was the best out of all of them, and that is The Spirit of Christmas, and I gave that 4 out of 5 stars. And I think The Spirit of Christmas is definitely one I'm going to be watching every single Christmas. It's so good. Then A Christmas Prince, I gave 3 out of 5 stars, maybe like 2.5. No, we'll stick with so I gave A Christmas Prince 3 out of 5 stars, A Christmas Inheritance 2.5 out of 5 stars, and 12 Dates of Christmas I gave 2 out of 5 stars. And the last movie that I watched this month was The Big Sick. The Big Sick, I watched it on one of my flights home. I decided to watch a movie that I didn't get to watch this year, but I really wanted to, and that was The Big Sick, and I'm so happy I watched it. I was really scared beginning to watch this because I heard so many great things about it that I had high expectations for it, and I was trying my best not to have high expectations for it, but I did, and I'm so happy that they did deliver because this was such a great story. I think this is considered a romantic comedy, but it definitely is different from all the other romantic comedies. This is actually even based off of a true story. This is about an Indian guy from an Indian family who's very not strict, but that's the only word I can think of, but like kind of strict in the Indian culture. They still believe in arranged marriages, and his parents keep trying to arrange his marriage, but he doesn't want it because he's fallen in love with a white girl who, you know, if the family ever found out, would probably disown him, but the girlfriend ends up getting into a coma. He meets the parents. It's this like very high intensity thing. The writing of this was incredible. The acting was just so well done. I loved Ray Romano. Ray Romano was incredible. But it is phenomenal. Please go watch this movie. I gave this 4.5 out of 5 stars. We have light again. I went to go and change my battery because the battery died. When I changed the battery and came back, look, the sun! There's light again. It feels great. It looks great. I think we're back on track. So now it's on to my favorite moments of the month. I had a pretty good amount of favorite moments. The first being office Christmas party. As always, when you work somewhere, there's usually a holiday party that they throw in December time. And so my office had one, and I actually had a blast. I was on the dance floor like 80% of the time. There was even a photo booth. That was really fun. I liked the photo booth. Next favorite moment, I went to Hearst Castle with some of those same coworkers at that party. We went on a road trip. It was like a 4-hour road trip to Hearst Castle because Hearst Castle's pretty far. So Hearst Castle was really fun. I honestly think the road trip was more fun than the actual Hearst Castle. I learned so much about my coworkers who are also now my friends. It's really nice to learn about the people you work with, learn about their lives and who they are and what they like and what they don't like, and it was really great learning experience, plus also a really great trip. Hearst Castle was so huge and so beautiful. Oh my god, it was pretty great. Next favorite moment obviously is going to be Christmas. I do love opening presents. And I actually really love seeing people open my presents. That's actually my favorite part of Christmas, is like when I give someone a gift and they open it and I see their reaction. I love it. I work so hard to try and get like the perfect gift for people. I had a great Christmas. I enjoyed the company. I enjoyed the presents. I just enjoyed everything about it. My next favorite moment is New York City. On January 30th, my mom took my sister and I to New York City, where we went to the Modern Museum of Art, aka MoMA, which was very strange. A lot of it was just kind of like, this is art? There was actually really cool stuff too. There was a whole floor that was just about fashion, and that was cool. Just seeing all the fashion throughout the years and the really iconic fashionable stuff too. So that was really cool. And then after that, we went to see Anastasia. Finally, I have been dying to see Anastasia just because this was something my mom and I have been talking about since I want to say I first saw the movie Anastasia as a kid. My mom and I have always said this would make a great musical one day. Like, this should become a musical on Broadway, and now it is. I did enjoy it a lot. I liked a good amount of like the new songs that they had. I will say, I don't want to like ruin it for people who haven't seen it and still want to see Anastasia the musical, but I will say the villain is not Rasputin. They changed the villain to a German soldier, so it is a little bit more realistic. I did have an issue with the villain though. I thought the way they wrote the villain, he wasn't like sinister or evil enough for me to actually be scared of him. I kind of rolled my eyes most of the times that he was on the stage. Sorry. I don't think it was the actor's acting ability of the character. I think it was more the writing of the character. It just didn't make him scary enough to be scared of him. But overall, really enjoyed it. And my last favorite moment is New Year's Eve. Every year, my friends from high school and I, we go to Philly and we go to like a big party. And so this year we went back to the Crystal Tea Room because we did the Crystal Tea Room 2 years ago and it was super fun. Going back again was also really fun. And it's basically like a prom for adults. Like, you get super dressed up and you're hanging out with your friends, and it was just a really great time. I don't remember most of the night, to be honest. I will say I was pretty drunk. It's an open bar. I'm not gonna waste my money and not take advantage of the alcohol and the food. There was a good amount of food too. It was like an open buffet. So much fun, lots of great dancing, lots of great time with friends. I always love it. I love it a lot. Now it's on to favorite things, and I could only really think of one favorite thing this month. I don't know, this month it was really hard to come up with favorite things for some reasons, but I have one, and that is these pants. These are the holiday pants. I got them at Target. They're more like leggings, if I'm being completely honest. I wore these a lot this month. I was originally going to Target to get one of their holiday skirts because I remember seeing their holiday skirts, and I was like, okay, I'll do one of their holiday skirts. That'll look really cute with like knee-high socks, blah, blah, blah. But they were all out of their Christmas skirts. And they were also out of their Christmas dress that I really wanted as well. But I did see these pants and I was like, okay, fine. Maybe I'll just like wear the pants and then return them the next day. And then I wore the pants. And I loved them, and I was like, you know what, we're just gonna keep them. I like that they're velvet too, like they feel so soft and they're really comfortable to wear. These are great pants. I love them. Okay, now we're gonna talk about TV shows. Okay, so there's only one TV show I'm going to talk about this month. God, it is so bright. Sun, make up your mind. Okay. Yeah, sorry, there is one TV show to excuse me, God, can I just get this sentence out? There is one TV show that I want to talk about, and that is Future Man. Oh, I finally was able to watch it. I finally got to use a friend of mine's Hulu account. Thank you, DJ. I got to watch it with DJ and my friend Chris as well. They're very mad at me because I did finish it without them. I completely understand. I get it. Sorry, but I had my reasons. This show is a Hulu original series and it just came out in November, and this was its first season and it was amazing. I mainly wanted to watch this because Josh Hutcherson was in it. I love Josh Hutcherson and he is in this show, and this was actually a phenomenal show. It is produced and I also believe written by Seth Rogen, and I do enjoy Seth Rogen's comedy. I like the stuff that he produces and the stuff that he writes and the stuff that he's in. I very much enjoy his comedy. It's very like crass comedy, but it's hysterical. But anyway, Future Man does still kind of have that crass comedy to it, but it also is very geeky. And it's got a lot of like video game comedy because it is about a guy who plays video games, and the video game comes to life and he now has to save the world. It's very fun. It is very fun. My favorite character is definitely Wolf. I think he had the strongest character arc over all of the characters. This show was hysterical, had great characters, great writing. The cinematography was really cool too. So it was very much like video game lighting. I don't know how to explain it. I loved how they incorporated the lighting of video games into real world. I don't know how to explain it, but I very much enjoyed that. Even the fighting was very much video game fighting, and it was hysterical seeing that in real life. So like the action scenes and the fighting scenes were definitely very funny because of that, but they were also still very like action packed. I don't know how to explain it, but like I still felt very much like, oh my god, they're in a fight. How's it gonna end? Like the adrenaline was pumping. It was a very spot on show. I don't really have any complaints about it. It was just a work of genius. I liked it a lot. So go watch the show if you can. And now we're on to the last part of this wrap-up video, and that is my favorite song of the month. And this is such a great song to end the year on for a favorite song. I kind of stopped listening to Christmas music just because all I wanted to listen to was this song. That doesn't mean I hate Christmas music or I was getting sick of it. I'm one of those people who listens to Christmas music all year round because I love it. It makes me feel happy and jolly. But this song was just kind of like in my head through most of the month, and it was the only song I wanted to listen to. And that song is Might Not Like Me by Bryn Elliott. I had never heard of this song or even of this artist. This song was given to me in that playlist that Spotify gives you at the end of the year where it's like songs you may have missed throughout the year that we think you might like. This song was on there, and this was actually the only song on that playlist I liked. They actually did a terrible job with that playlist this year. But this one I really loved, and it's such a girl power song. I think it was another reason why I liked it. So it's about like this guy who dumps her, and he dumps her because she's like better than him and stuff. Like the whole song is like, you know, if you don't like girls who are stronger than you, if you don't like girls who are smarter than you, then you might not like me. And so she's like talking about how like she's sad about the breakup, but in the end, if you don't like the fact that I'm better than you at some things, then this might not actually work out, and this could be for the better. So I love the message of the song, and it also just has a really catchy tune. So thank you for watching this final wrap-up video of 2017 for the month of December. And I can't wait to see you guys. I almost said next year, but technically it is already next year. It's already 2018. But get excited because I have some videos coming out, hopefully by the end of January. I don't want them to come out in February, where I talk about my top 10s of the 2017 year.